Let's talk a little bit about this buyback because, like you said, that $100 billion, massive in terms of what they're going to plan to give back. But let's take a step back because now we can close the history books, or the book at least on some of this history, with regard to why Apple is the biggest talk of the town when it comes to buybacks. Because according to S&P Dow Jones Indices senior index analyst Howard Silverblatt, Apple owns 4 of the top 5 biggest quarterly buybacks of all time. Just this past quarter, they spent nearly $23 billion buying back their own shares. That's the #1 spot. Number 2, Apple again, $18 billion back in Q1 2014. Number 3, Apple again, Q3 2014. Number 4, Q2 2013, Apple again. The only stock that's not Apple in the top 5 in terms of biggest quarterly buybacks was IBM way back in 2007 when they bought nearly $16 billion back. Now let's take a look at who the biggest repurchasers of stock are, at least back in 2017. So last year, now that we closed the books there, we know that Apple was the biggest purchaser, $32 billion there. And then a slew of banks makes up the next 3. We got Citigroup, Bank of America, JP Morgan, all spending around that 12 to 15-ish billion dollar mark in terms of overall buybacks. And then Charter Communications at $11.7 billion. Let's take a look now at the dividend side of things, because that is not insignificant with regard to biggest annual dividend payments, because Silverblatt notes Apple is now the biggest dividend payer, almost $15 billion in annual dividends. ExxonMobil in second place at 14, Microsoft at $13 billion, AT&T at $12 billion, and Verizon nearly $10 billion. So as we talk about the massive amounts of money, Joe, guys, that these guys are going to return, it's important to note here that they've been serial repurchasers of stock and also dividend payers over time for the last few years at least. And that means that for certain income investors out there, it is a stock that perhaps has a little bit of appeal on that front as well, guys.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.